What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
All right, we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is the Jaguar Journal. Man, blessed to see another Saturday, and guess what? I'm blessed to have you guys here with me. I am Perry White. Woo! It's March. Can you believe it? We're already in the third month of the year. We rocking and rolling. And big news as we move forward with the Jaguar Journal from here on out. You know, I always got to give thanks for the people who paved the way, who ultimately opened the door for people like myself. And that's with my guy, Reggie Flood. Reggie Flood gave me the opportunity to come on here on the Jaguar Journal about 5-6 years ago. Started out as a guest, coming on and just talking. And it led to come on again. It led to come on again. It led to come on again to ultimately, hey, like to be my co-host. No, I don't have any background in radio. I don't have any background in media, mass comm, but it was just what I was doing at the time. I was basically teaching myself media and this whole world of communications from video to production and ultimately to radio. So the big news moving forward this morning here on the Jaguar Journal, Reggie Flood has moved on. He's now launched his own show, the Big Time Sports Show, which, if you want to keep up with him, is on HBCU Sports. So the keys to the ship and to the car have officially been passed on to Perry White. Now, if you've been listening to the show, you pretty much been hearing my voice past, year and a half a year, few months, couple months, whatever. Got a lot of people that's new to following the show. A lot of people that's out there been listening to the show for 20 plus years, as long as it's been on the airwaves. There have been a lot of people before me that have come and gone that have done the Jaguar Journal. You never forget where you come from, because I constantly learn something more and more about the history of the Jaguar Journal, considering where we are today in March 2024 compared to where this show was 20 years ago. I know the show has had its ups and downs. It has had its different directions. And with every new captain, that captain runs the ship how they want to run it. And there have been plenty of captains before myself being here talking to you guys on radio, for you guys watching and listening on Facebook and YouTube. And that's the part of the evolution of each captain. And so I have to give thanks to the previous captain, that's my guy Reggie Flood, for bringing me in, ultimately exposing me to the Jaguar Journal, giving me history and insight about the Jaguar Journal. And first of all, just giving me the opportunity. I was in college at the time. I had no idea and I had no experience about radio. I remember the first time Flood and I did the show. I was nervous, but I remember the first time he had something to do and he left me to do the show, and I had to do it by myself for 2 hours. I completely bummed it. Boy, have I come a long way. Now you can't get me to shut up for 2 hours. Mike, what you laughing about? You think that's funny? Y'all can't see Mike, but he back here laughing because I'm pretty sure a lot of times he wish I would shut up. But Mike, this is Talk Radio. This is 107.3 Talk here in Baton Rouge and everywhere else where we're affiliated. I know we got our affiliates over in Alexandria, down in New Orleans, and then what I love about it, because as the new captain of the ship, you have slowly but surely seen me incorporate new things, working along with Mike. Mike is a young guy. And since I've been doing this show, we've had a lot of producers to come and go. But in my opinion, a lot of them didn't take the show serious. This show seemed like it was almost punishment. Like, I got to do the Jaguar Journal. They didn't seem entertained about what we was talking about because it wasn't LSU. It wasn't the Saints. It wasn't the Pelicans. It was Southern. But the beautiful thing about this show is there's a large population out there, not only across the state of Louisiana, but across the globe, that wants to know what's happening at Southern University, which is why the Jaguar Journal has been able to last this long. The longest running show on radio here in Baton Rouge. And if I want to say continuous show in the state of Louisiana. So that tells you within itself what that means. Southern University has done a lot for people's lives in this state. It has transformed lives in this state. It has given opportunities. It created the black middle class in the state of Louisiana. What I'm trying to do now as the new captain of the ship, and I just got the keys this week, is to grow this thing to farther than we ever thought it could be, to take it to new heights. Also repairing, rebuilding, adding on. And for me, I think that's what's crucial. I'm a young man. Mike's a young guy. We see the world of how it works beyond radio to digital media, which is why I always ask you guys, if you don't do nothing else, support the live, support the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. It is free. But now I'm the captain of the ship, and I'm excited. You're going to slowly but surely see changes. Beforehand, I must admit, I just played my role. My role was to come in here. My role was to do this show, and I never did go beyond that, right? I never complained. I never did. I stayed in my lane. I did what I had to do. That's life. I never overstepped my boundaries on anything. I just simply did what I had to do, while at the same time trying to incorporate little things that I thought from my generation, and then even with talking with Mike, because he's a little further down in generations from me, and incorporating what are people doing, what are new ways for people to see what it is that we're doing, because I can remember the days of people saying, y'all come on too early, what y'all talk about, and I had no way to relate and show them. So now we have the YouTube channel. We have the Facebook Live. You can watch us on either one of those, and you don't have to catch us live. You can always go back. But I say all that to say there's a new sheriff in town. And I kind of been working my way up into this position anyway. But before I do anything, I want to say thank you to my guy, Reggie Flood, for giving me the opportunity Reggie is no longer going to be moving forward with the Jaguar Journal as he shifted his attention to what he's launched, the Big Time Sports Show on HBCU Sports with my guy Ken Richard and the rest of those guys over there. So if you want to keep up with Flood, he'll still, from time to time check in on us. I hope. But if that's what you want to do and you want to continue to follow what Flood is doing, that's what he's done. He's launched that. So that's the new thing for him. And the new thing for me is going to be pushing this show further and beyond it's ever been in the 20-plus years of the people that have come before me to try to take this thing to new heights. I appreciate you guys for your support out there that you tune in from 7 to 9 on Saturdays, and for everybody that listens after the fact, because that's a big thing that I see. After the fact, people come back, and our numbers on Facebook are really good on our live. And I can compare it to many others that do lives that where our numbers are really good. So, I'm Perry White. I'm your new sheriff. Mike, my deputy sheriff. Things going to be a little different around here, all right? And what we're going to start right here is taking a break. We're going to come back on the other side. Southern University softball head coach, Coach Williams, Brittany Williams, is going to join us and talk to us about what's going on with the program this weekend. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back. More to Jaguar Journal.
Danny Johnson, first and foremost, outstanding young man, great character, great young man. Can't say enough about him. Great father. You always see him, hanging around with his son and spending time with his son and his family. As a player, I can't say enough about him. He has all the athletic ability that you would want in a kid with playing corner, the footwork, speed, all the intangibles.
I have a good work ethic. It's been a lot of times, in the off season, I gotta just push myself to go work out. Even if nobody else was out there, just to get an extra push when we get back into the season. Because I always want to have that edge over everybody else. So, it's just that mindset that I have. I want to be one of the best. So, I gotta push myself. If anybody else does. And it's like a lot of stuff that I want to do with my son that I can't do because I'm playing ball. So my biggest return to him is just, having him come to games on Saturday and, he can see his father play in front of, thousands of people. It's just, it makes him happy. So whenever he's happy, I'm happy. But just when I get the chance to just go home and, hear everything, he's been doing in school and, what he likes and doesn't like, it just brings me back to that fatherhood of just being around him, and that's what I like to do. I put academics over football because, I can't play football forever. At some point, I'm going to have to rely on that degree. So, that's my biggest thing, and that's one reason why I came to Southern, to get that degree. So I set myself up to where I'll be able to graduate right after the season. So if football doesn't work out for me, I can always come back and go to grad school. So, education is a big thing for me.
Danny Johnson will put Southern University on a, national stage. Obviously, everybody knows about Jag Nation and Southern University, but you'll see Danny Johnson playing on Sunday one day, and he'll be able to be an ambassador, for the university.
What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal. All right, we are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White. Good morning to everybody out there watching on our YouTube Live. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. I don't need anything from you. As always, I don't want to know your bank account, your Social Security. I don't need nothing from you. I just need your support and your love because we're trying to grow something great here and promote something even better. Good morning to everybody on our Facebook Live and everybody in terms of our affiliates out there in Alexandria, Louisiana, here in Baton Rouge, and as well as down in New Orleans. And we're going to continue to keep the show going this morning. Very special guest. She is not new to the show and starting to become a regular. Mike said, man, you like having her on. I said, Mike, I do. It's softball season, so why not have the head honcho in charge of the softball team, and that's Coach Williams. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good. I think Mike liked having you on this morning. It's good for him to hear a woman's voice instead of my voice 24/7 for 2 hours. So I appreciate you for joining us.
Oh, no problem.
All right, let's talk about Southern University softball. Currently 3-9 on the season right now. Guys having an up and down stretch, but most importantly, you're at home this weekend and you're hosting a tournament, the March Mambo. Talk about that tournament, the teams involved, and how this thing is coming together.
Yeah, so we're hosting Maryland Eastern Shore, which is another HBCU. We'll have them. We kind of had a schedule change due to the weather yesterday and our field conditions. So today we'll be playing at 1 and 3 o'clock. Initially, it was Louisiana Christian. We were playing them today, but we pushed them back to tomorrow, Sunday, and we'll play them at 1 o'clock Sunday as well. So we have 2 double headers starting at 1 this weekend.
Say that a little louder for the people in the back, Coach Williams, just so they'll make sure they got the times, because it's a big weekend on the Bluff. So if they want to come over and check you guys out, what are the times again?
1 o'clock and 3 o'clock, both days, Saturday and Sunday. I know we have some high school softball teams coming out today, so I'm excited about that. And hopefully we can get some in tomorrow as well. Tomorrow, too, starts the Read Across America week, so we'll be giving out free books to kids, and it's associated with the basketball game as well. So if you go to our softball game today, you get in basketball for free.
Check that out. You got a deal right there. Coach, let's talk about, you just come out, the team just finished up from the HBCU celebration class. You took on Tuskegee, Howard, Alabama A&M, Florida A&M. What about that tournament? What did you see about in terms of your team coming out of that tournament?
My team competes. That weekend we went 12 innings with Tuskegee. That was our 4th extra inning game on the season. And some people don't even go extra innings the whole season. So we're competitive, we're competing, we're young, as I mentioned earlier, but this team does not give up. Going through a lot of adversity right now. We have a lot of injuries that we're fighting. So for them to compete even without everybody that we have on our roster, it shows a lot.
You know, you talk about dealing with those injuries, so that means you start to look at the depth of a team. And when you look at the depth of the team, you start to put some PT or playing time in the hands and the legs of a young lady they may not have ultimately been seeing that time. What have you seen from some of those young ladies who are now starting to get more time or having to rotate to other positions, and name some of those young ladies that you're looking for some big things out of?
Yes. So Jason Frazier, a sophomore, had a few innings last season, but this season has been playing first base for us pretty much every game now. She's a big hitter and has been forced to develop. So we're excited about what she's going to do for us this weekend. Our goal for her is to get her RBIs up. So she knows that, and she's excited about that. And now the fear is gone. So she just gets up there and hacks. Alana Mark, who I mentioned, preseason, who I was expecting a lot from, she's our initial starting first baseman. She's been playing second for us this year. And she is just fearless. That position is way more range than first base, and she honestly hasn't missed a beat for us there. So we're excited about her, and we continue to have her bat in the lineup. So that's exciting as well. I tell my team sometimes God has a different plan. So the adversity allows me to have 2 big sticks. So now I don't have to switch out Jay Frey and Alana. Now I can have them both in the lineup. So that has been exciting for me. I have Mackenzie Ogden, who is my initial left fielder. But this past weekend, she was at shortstop. She had to play center field a little bit. So she is a true utility for me. And also my catchers, Micaiah Taylor, Kira Miracle Tilford. Both of them are rotating at the starting position, and they've been at the outfield this year. So they've been in left and right field. Like I said, both still have great bats, so it gives me the opportunity for both of them to be in the lineup as well. So the silver lining is we got some sticks in the lineup.
So you're having to dig down in there and make it work.
We making it work.
Let's talk about making it work. So when you look at your opponents, you're talking about University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, and Louisiana Christian University. Break down each one of those opponents for me. What do they do well, and what ways do you see you guys being able to get a dub on them in terms of the breakdown of those teams?
Okay, I'll start with Maryland Eastern Shore. They have speed, and they have 3 hitters that kind of carry the team. So we can keep control of them and get my catchers ready for the steals, get them thrown out on the bases, pick them off on the bases. We'll definitely have a good chance. Their pitching staff is not as deep, so if we can get up there and, of course, knock off the first pitcher and knock off the second one, then, we're good to go. As far as defense, they do make quite a few errors from what I've seen. So encouraging my team that we got to put the ball in play and play our game. As far as Louisiana Christian, those 2 teams actually played yesterday. They beat Maryland Eastern Shore the first game, and I checked this morning. The second game wasn't up yet. They played fairly late yesterday. But Louisiana Christian is known for hitting as well. Those girls can definitely hit. We played them in the fall, so we know what to expect and what to do. So if we stick to our game plan, we'll have that one won as well.
I like to hear that. And then for everybody that's out there listening, Coach, give them the time again, because you guys have had to adjust the scheduling in terms of where you're going and how you're playing it for the people out there that want to show up today. And let them know the incentives. You told me an incentive about showing up to the game.
Yeah, so if you come to the softball game today at 1 o'clock, you'll get into the basketball game today as well. So we play at 1 and 3. And then I know basketball, I think women start at 12, and then the men start at 3. Mm-hmm. So if you come to our first game, you can get into the men's game.
See, that's big right there. Coach, for you, as you're just going through the season, what are you learning about yourself, this team, and your coaching staff dealing with adversity just as a program?
I'm learning that my coaching staff, they're very supportive. Sometimes you throw ideas out there and they're like, what? Like, for example, put my first baseman at second base. And instead of shooting ideas down, we hear everybody. We hear everybody out. We are able to brainstorm the good and the bad of everything and come up with a solution to put our team in position to win, no matter what our obstacles are. As far as my players, it has taught them to kind of live for the adversity. You know, the underdog syndrome coming in. They were so excited when we had, of course, everybody. We had such a great opening weekend. And then, like I said, I told it in the head coaches meeting yesterday that I feel like people are taking out my starters with sniper rifles. But they are still working, and it is increasing their softball IQ, knowing although I might play outfield, this is what shortstop has to do in this particular play. And it's increasing their knowledge of the game. So, like I said, there's always a silver lining, and I definitely think it's preparing us the best way for a conference coming up.
Yeah, you're talking about conference coming up, but right before conference on Tuesday, March the 5th, you guys are hosting Nichols here in Baton Rouge at 5 o'clock, and then conference starts here in Baton Rouge against Texas Southern. What are you looking at Nichols? You're looking at conference play coming up after getting done with this weekend. What's the direction once you get into conference play and the things really do ramp up as those conference numbers start to really either add up in wins or start to add up in the L column?
Right. We're looking forward to conference. We actually have the toughest conference schedule. TSU, PV, and Graham are one of the top teams in our conference. And we have each of them in 2 different sets. So we play them 6 times each. So our goal is to take it one game at a time. Just every game counts in conference. You cannot get swept. So one game at a time, coming in, solidifying that first game, and then taking it from there the next day.
Coach, one more time. I got to always make sure we do it over and over because I want people to show up to the game and support you guys. One more time in terms of the times of the games and who you're playing today.
Yes, 1 o'clock we have a doubleheader versus Maryland Eastern Shore. So there's 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock today. And tomorrow we have a doubleheader versus Louisiana Christian. So that is 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Do you guys have a social media page? Y'all, do you have your own social media?
Yes, it is at SU Softball _, and that's on all platforms. We have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I really encourage people to go there to stay up to date with our schedule, as well as our players. They do a day in a life where they'll show you game days, how that works for them, or we'll choose a random day where they'll take you through their classes and practice and just a day in a life for athletes. So especially those at prospect age looking for colleges and just kind of want to know what is it like to be a student athlete, it's a good tool or a good resource to have. So at SU Softball _.
Well, thank you. That's the voice of Coach Brittany Williams, the softball head coach at Southern University. Coach, I thank you for coming on. Good luck to you guys today.
Thank you.
All right, let's get ready to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to have Coach White. We're going to talk a little track and field, something we haven't quite done this year on the Jaguar Journal. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White. And what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
Talk about offense, we talk about Southern, and it begins with their passing game.
Tom, beyond potent, we're talking about high octane, we're talking about fast break, we're talking about 41 points a game, some 500-plus yards since Terrence Levy has taken over this offense.
Because that young man doesn't drop any ball.
With the legacy that you started here, you got to feel happy to see it continue on with Doug Williams.
Ball now back at the 22-yard line. Levy. No pressure at all. Touchdown, Ingram. The Bayou Classic. Levy on a first and goal play. Throws a touchdown. Grambling comes with a blitz. Levy steps in the pocket. And his pass is caught. One-handed grab.
Sort of in the middle of the road of the SWAC, but immediately they jump on the Jackson State defense. And here's Levy rolling out. And the pass is caught. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. If you're going to get, I got some free tickets. Look out for it, brother. Going downfield. Oh, and what a play by Southern.
Score. He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes. Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable, Michael Hayes. 3rd down. And 23 for a first. Levy over the middle. Nice pass that time. 2nd and 20. Levy doesn't have to get it all, but he's going to have to pick up some yards. Here he is throwing, nice catch made.
Receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out a foul.
Touchdown.
Backfield. Plenty of time for Levy across the middle. Has his man at the 15. You know, I don't know if you want to break the spirit of Terrence Levy or not. Here he wings one wide open down the middle and a one-handed grab made.
The way. 3rd down and 4. And here's Lewis off the catch. Lewis still on his feet, and Lewis is streaking down the sideline. Touchdown. So they move back 5 yards. Levy on 3rd down. Looking down the sideline. Yes, sir. Big time player.
Guys stepping up like they're going to flip.
All right, we are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday morning. Wake up, get some coffee, get the day started with Perry White in the Jaguar Journal. My man Mike back on the board holding it down, and we're going to keep things rolling. And this might be the first time I had him on this show, and I got to see because I'm going to ask him, but I got to welcome the head coach of Southern University Track and Field, my guy, Coach White. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Mr. Third. Good morning, Mr. White. How you doing?
Doing good, man. See, he's Coach White. I'm Mr. White. Somewhere down the line, we cousins. I don't know where is that, but we cousins somewhere.
we cousins. We whites. You know, we stick together.
Man, it's good to have you. I don't know. I'm trying to think back. Have we had conversations here on the show before?
No, this is actually our first time.
Well, I'm glad to have you. Welcome to my home.
Yeah. I'm glad to be on.
This is where I hang out on Saturday mornings from 7 to 9, man, the Jaguar Journal. We heard all across the state, Alexandria, Louisiana, down in New Orleans, across the Baton Rouge region, as well as all across the world on our YouTube and Facebook Live. So it's good to have you on here, Coach. And it's also good to be able to talk to you about your program. Let's just start here. You guys just closed out the indoor track season at the 2024 SWAC Indoor Track and Field Championship. Give us a little recap on that, Coach, and how we did.
We had some great performances. We had a young lady named Laurie Hart. She went out there and got outstanding field performance for us. She's actually a full-time teacher. She practiced 2 days a week, and she come out there and give it all. And I'm pretty excited about that. Our men's 4x4 team went out there and put on the show. We came up a little short, but we're really excited what we're going to do for the outdoor season because the time that they actually ran was the fastest time they ever ran in the past, 20 years indoors. So I'm pretty excited about that. And, we got a bunch of kids that's going to do some great things. And, I feel like we're going to have some kids that are going to make it to the Nationals for outdoor season. And our women's finished fourth and our men came in seventh. So we had some men help on the men's side, but we going into our season, which is the outdoor season, and we pretty solid with that, and we excited. And, we know we have a chance to do some special things at our conference meet, which will be at home.
When you look at coaching track and field, introduce us to, it's not only yourself, but the other coaches, whoever else helps you with maintaining and making sure this program moves forward.
Yes, I have a great staff. I'm first start by saying I have an associated head coach named Freddie Glover. He works with our sprints and our sprints and our hurdles. I'm sorry. He do a great job with that, and he pushed those kids really, really hard. He's right there from Lafayette, Louisiana. We have another coach by the name of Courtney Ware. She's from Indianapolis, Indiana. She works with our jumpers, and she do a extraordinary job with our jumpers and everything like that. And we're looking forward for her to do some great things with that. And we have another coach by the name of Esau Lawless. He's a Southern alum and one of the greatest distance runners to ever run for Southern. He actually was on the staff in Southern in the early 90s when Coach Thomas was heading the team, and he started helping, with the distance runners then when Coach Thomas went on his championship run. So we're pretty excited to have Coach Esau. He brings a lot of energy and everything with the team. He's from Baton Rouge, and like I said, Southern alum. And we have Coach Mrs. White. She helps out. She's our strength and conditioning coach, and she helps out with the throws. She helps out with the shot put, and she did a great job with that also.
What's something that's big and it resonates with people of Southern and Southern University track fans. The name Pelican Relays, right? That is a name that has been right there when you talk about the best relays, seeing the best track runners. Talk about the Pelican Relays because you're going to have it this year.
Yes, we actually started back last year because we got the new track and all of that great stuff. And, it was a big thing for us to bring it back at Southern University, the Pelican Relays. We wanted to make sure we had a really good facility to bring in some really good teams to run some fast times and jump some great distances and just throw for. But it's always a great thing for our kids at Southern University to be able to compete at home because it's a special place and we can do some special things. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I think a lot of other colleges around are excited to come in to Southern because we got the big stadium and everything, and the kids really get excited. And I think our home place could turn over some great performances.
You talk about the improvement of the track field, and I see, beautiful track. You have the Jaguar Park, the facilities and everything that is going to help this program. Give the listeners out there an idea of what are some of the things that have helped you guys as a program when you look at facility upgrades.
Man, our facility is second to none. I mean, this is a great facility. It don't have a lot of big facilities, huge facilities like we have at Southern University. So we're going to be able to host some big events. So that's a big thing when it comes down to track and field. We got a stadium that can hold 30,000 people in it, and there's not many stadiums across the United States that can hold that many. So we're looking forward to bringing like big championships and big events over down to North Baton Rouge at Southern University, because it's a special place and a lot of people want to be there because we're in the South, it's hot, and everybody in track and field like to compete, in the good weather, and we have that great weather. And when you have that great weather, you have great performances. So that's what it's all about.
For your program, what does recruiting look like? I always want people and listeners to understand, because I think a lot of times when you start talking about certain sports, there's a kind of a question mark on how do they operate? How do you go out and recruit? What do you look for when you're recruiting? So when you're recruiting track and field, what area, region do you like to go recruit, and what are you looking for in someone to come to Southern University and ultimately compete in track and field?
What's special about track and field, we actually recruit the world. We try to find the best people that can help us around the world. So, track and field is not a huge deal in the United States, but outside of the U.S. it's huge. So we like to go out, we like to recruit the home base first. We always going to recruit home. That's the number one thing. We're going to recruit the region. We're going to recruit home. That's always going to be a big niche for us. But we actually go out to the other states. We go out high and far and low, and we recruit all around the world. Actually, my staff and I, we are in Gainesville, Florida right now at JUCO Nationals, trying to bring the best talent that we could bring to Southern University. So, we recruit all over, so which is a special thing for track and field. I know the other sports, some of them, are confined to, recruiting kind of regionally. But with track and field, we gotta go out and recruit because we got to be able to keep up with, with the best. And we are a Division I program, and I feel like our program could be a top 10 team in the nation. So, that's our drive and that's our focus. But the most important thing, we want to be very competitive within our conference.
Yeah, Southern has a rich track history, and a lot of people know about it here in the state of Louisiana and around the country. Before I get ready to let you go, Coach, I always want to give a spotlight to the student athletes who are a part of the track and field program. Give us some names of some of those athletes for you on the track and field program.
DeAnthony Nervis, he's a sprinter for us. We have Kayvon Hamilton, he's a jumper for us. Another guy, special guy. He's right there from Baton Rouge. Jada Chevalier, she's one of our hurdlers. She's going to do some special things. We have Jordan Thompson, another kid from Baton Rouge. He's a hurdler. He won SWAC 2 times in the hurdles. He's been to NCAA regionals. He's trying to push to go to the national meet. We have Azariah Foster. She's a jumper. That's going to do some great things for us. Yaria Bass, she's a jumper. She's going to do some great things for us. Got Lardney Hart, I mentioned her earlier on. She's originally from North Louisiana. Mom and Dad went to Southern University. She's a thrower for us. She's going to do some great things. We have Logan Lewis. She's another young lady from Baton Rouge. She's a nursing major. She's a senior. She's going to do some astronomical things for us when it comes down to the throws. It's just so many to name. We have a lot of great kids and everything in our program, and I hope I'm not missing nobody out, but we have a lot of kids that are going to do some special things this year for us, and we're pretty excited about that.
Coach, for the Pelican, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I got one more mention. I got a young lady by the name of Camille Lewis. She's from Trinidad and Tobago. She's a high jumper. She's an 800 runner. She's a 400 hurdler that went to the NCAA regionals last year. They're going to do some astronomical things for us. And last but not least, couldn't leave her out with Trinity Bolden. She has won the SWAC for us in the 60 meters and went to the NCAA first rounds and looking to make a push to go to the to nationals. And she's a third generational kid, that's coming to Southern from California.
Man, that's good to have. Look, I like the generational, and I like just the fact of these young people are coming out to compete, and they want to come to Southern. For the people that want to come to Southern and watch the competition for the Pelican Relays, Coach, give the information, the date, what they need to do, if they just all of that stuff that goes along with it.
All right, so we're going to start out the Pelican Relays on April 5th. We're going to start out with the field. We're going to have a 3 field event on April 5th, which is the Friday. We're going to throw the hammer, the javelin, and then we're going to do some running events, which is on April 5th, which is that Friday. We're going to run the 200 and the 5,000. And the high school portion is going to be sponsored through the LHSA, so it's going to be called the Louisiana Meter Champions. So the Louisiana Meter Champions, meaning the top 20 kids that enter into the meet at Southern University, will compete on Friday, and they're going to start the field at 4 o'clock. The running going to start at 6. And leading on to Saturday, we're going to finish out with the college portion of the meet. The running event's going to start, the field event's going to start at 9:30, and the running event is going to start at 1:30 on Saturday, April 6th. We are very family friendly. We're looking for everybody to come. Bring everybody to the Bluff. We need everybody to the Bluff on that Saturday. We got baseball going on. We got softball going on. We got tennis going on. It's going to be a great day on the Bluff that whole weekend. We're looking forward to bringing everybody out.
Coach, well, I appreciate you for coming on. Are you guys on social media, Coach? You guys have a social media page?
Yes, we are on social media. Southern University Track and Field and cross country. We are on social media.
Well, Coach, thank you for coming on. This is my cousin, y'all, Coach White. And so my cousin from the other side, we'll dig down and figure it out one day what side it is. But want to thank you, Coach White, for coming on, talking about the program and promoting the Pelican Relays. I definitely have you on closer to time to continue to put the word out.
I appreciate you having me, Mr. White. You have a great one.
Same to you. All right, let's get ready to take a break. Come back, try to talk a little baseball for you guys, so you guys stay tuned, all right? Boy, the Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
Best, and they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
He really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for
touchdown! Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss. And a nice catch. Ricks on the 1st and 10. Little draw play. Takes it outside. He's got the first down.
But Ricks going to take it up the middle.
All right, we are back. Good morning to everybody out there. This is the Jaguar Journal. I am Perry White. Good to have you joining me this morning. To our affiliates over in Alexandria, down in New Orleans, and right here in the Talk 107.3 radius. Good morning right here in Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas, and everybody listening and watching us across the globe on our YouTube. Look, if you haven't, and even if you listen to us on the radio, just still go to your YouTube on your phone and find and type in Jaguar Journal. Hit the subscribe button. As we call it, we on the road to 1,000, right? That means a lot considering what we basically started this thing just organically trying to grow it, and we slowly but surely are growing it. I need your support because I know there are more than 1,000 listeners out there. There are a lot of you out there, right? And whether you love Southern, you don't, it don't matter. Just show me some support, okay? Show Mike some support. Show the Jaguar Journal some support. We're moving in a new direction. Clearly, if you're watching today on the YouTube channel, you see some new things. You see us trying some different things, adding some different type of content just to make it exciting for you guys. And so I hope you guys enjoy it. And for you, if you do listen to it on radio and you want to go back and you want to watch the show again or you want to share the show again, you have the opportunity to do so. And that's using the Jaguar Journal YouTube channel as well as our Facebook channel. And, love to have your support. Be sure to follow us on our Jaguar Journal Facebook page. And we want your support. I don't know how many more ways to say it. We want your support. Mike, we got this TV back here. There we go. We got to make sure because this thing plays the ads on it. So we ain't trying to give no free pub to nobody because they're going to have to cut a check to us. We need a check written over here. And listen, we're going to open up opportunities. There are plenty of businesses right here across the Baton Rouge area, across the region in Louisiana. If you want to do some advertisement, reach out to us, okay? Our platforms are growing tremendously when you look at our YouTube channel, when you look at our Facebook, when you look at what we're doing right here on the airwaves. We are growing. And because we're growing, that presents opportunities. And why not present that opportunity to you guys to grow with us? So if you have a business or is anything out there that you want to grow, you let us know. You hit old Perry White up. And I ain't hard to find. But you hit me up and you find me or my guy CJ Guidry, whoever the case you would like to reach out to. And if you think you have an opportunity to be able to present a business or whatever it is you want to promote, let us know. We can start finding ways to incorporate you into our programming now that we're continuously evolving and growing the show. So first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for the support and love and continue to support and love. Share the word about the Jaguar Journal, right? Hit that subscribe button. And I promise you, it is so easy to type in the Jaguar Journal on YouTube and just hit that button that says subscribe. You'll get a notification every time we go live. Let's say you're not in Baton Rouge on the weekend and you're not able to listen to the show live, listening to it normally on radio. You'll be able to get that notification right there on your phone and watch it on your phone. Let's say you miss it all together. You can go back and watch. Let's say somebody said, did you listen to the show? And I said, no. Well, here, let me share it. Send it right over to your phone. So many different ways to make this thing easier for you guys, and that's what we're trying to do as we continue to grow. Now, let's talk about a little Southern University baseball today. Southern right now 3-4 on the season. They started the season off, of course, over at the Cactus Jack HBCU Classic, taking on Alcorn. They won 10-4 to start the season. And then 2 straight L's over in Minute Maid Park, lost 10-0 to Grambling, 3-5 to Texas Southern. They went down to Vero Beach, Florida in the Andre Dawson Classic, took on Alabama State, got a victory 7-1. Fell short by 6 runs to North Carolina A&T and fell short by 15 runs in Vero Beach down at the Andre Dawson Classic to Florida A&M. Come home midweek game Tuesday against Dillard University. The Jaguars shake back over at Lee Hines Field 13-6, winning that game big. And then this weekend, The Jaguars taking on Nichols down in Thibodaux, Louisiana. They'll be back at home for the last game of that 3-game series. Going to be played right here at Lee Hines Field on Sunday at 3 o'clock. So if you're not doing anything on Sunday, you want to check out some Southern University baseball, you'll have that opportunity to do it at 3 p.m. on Sunday at Lee Hines Field against Nichols. A midweek game against Suno, Southern University, New Orleans. Southern on Southern crime. Is that what that is? Yeah, Southern University BR versus Southern University New Orleans. We'll welcome the Knights of Southern University New Orleans from down the road up to Lee Hines Field on March the 5th, Tuesday at 6 p.m. And then Friday next week, Southern will start its conference series against Alabama State. The Hornets of Alabama State out of the SWAC East. We've known traditionally has been a really good program, just like Southern. They'll be right here in Baton Rouge March 8th through the 10th for a 3-game series here in Baton Rouge. Game 1 will be on Friday at 6 p.m. at Lee Hines Field. Game 2 will be Saturday at 3 p.m. at Lee Hines Field, and then they'll close things out, weather permitted, on Sunday, March the 10th at 1 p.m. against Alabama State. And then moving on, of course, McNeese State, that midweek game the week after on March the 12th on Tuesday at 6 p.m. So Southern University right now taking on Nichols this weekend. If you guys want to keep up with it, I'm not sure how Nichols, are they streaming games or what? But, hey, just Google is your friend in 2024. If you can't find any information, and if I don't give you every single detail to a T, trust me, just Google it. Or however you want to get it. Or you simply go to the school's website, right? Go to their webpage and check it out. But Southern University right now taking on Nichols this weekend against down in Thibodaux, Louisiana, And that last game will be on Sunday here in Baton Rouge at Lee Hines Stadium, Lee Hines Field at 3 p.m. Maybe I can see what Coach Kadar is doing. I can pull him out and see if he wants to go check out a baseball game with me. Southern right now, baseball 3-4 on the season, and that's where we are. So good morning to you guys. We're about to get ready to get to the top of the hour. We're going to get ready to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk Southern University basketball. We're going to have Coach Carlos Funches, the head women's basketball coach at Southern University, and then Coach Kevin Johnson, the head men's basketball coach. They have home games today. Bethune-Cookman is in town, and then they're going to take on FAMU on Monday. Remember, the first time around when Southern went on the road, Southern women lost on the road to Florida A&M, who's going to be Monday's opponent. And Southern men lost the lead in the second half, game went into overtime, and ultimately lost that game against Bethune-Cookman on the road. So this matters. These Florida schools have snuck one out against the men and the women, both on the road, and now we have them both at home today. The game will be televised live on HBCU Go TV. Check your local listings. And because of that, we got to get my man Charlie Neal on the show. He's in Baton Rouge, so going to have him talk about where can you find this show, where can you watch it, and just today's big matchup. And we'll talk about everything else around the SWAC, MEAC landscape, and how things are starting to shape up in the conference, all right? So you guys stay tuned. Let's pay some bills. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal, all right?
It's on the yard.
Danny Johnson, first and foremost, outstanding young man, great character, great young man. Can't say enough about him. Great father. You always see him.
Southern was a little late to the game of football.
Danny Johnson, first and foremost.
Southern was a little late to the game of football. They had started earlier in the CIAA up at Hampton and those schools up there. And when J.S. Clark became president of Southern University in 1914, he had already visited the Tuskegee and these Howard and the other schools, and they had a football program. And he wanted to compete with them, not just in the classroom, but also on the football field. So it started as an intramural. We had intramurals when we first came in 1914 through 1916, 17. And then the intramural program evolved into the varsity, into the football program in 1918. Coach Big Charlie Holmes from Colorado State, he came here as an assistant coach, but he took over around 1922, 1923, and he did very well through the early 20s. But he came up to 26. He broke even. He was expected to do well, and 27. I don't find any records where he won any games there, and he was replaced. But the person he was replaced by was a legendary. Name is Bryce Union Taylor from the University of Southern California. Out there, he had been an All-American. He was the guy that stopped the four horsemen of Notre Dame, and then he went to Chaffin University in South Carolina at 27. In 1928, he became the head football coach at Southern University and athletic director, and he really put Southern on the map. He had a lot of firsts. First of all, he had the first All-Americans we had came under him. Therefore, he had the greatest winning percentage in Southern University. He won 85% of his game here, and he had our first undefeated season in 1931 when he was 7-0, and but he was not declared national champ, but he was considered for that. But he was our first great coach during that early period, Bryce Union Taylor. We don't want to forget him. Arnett W. Mumford, he's a national icon in coaching. He had coached 10 years in Texas, Jarvis Christian, Bishop, and Texas College. But the last 5 or 6 years at Texas College, he was very, very outstanding. He won 2 SWAC titles, and he had won a national black championship at Texas College and 35. So therefore, Southern was interested in getting him here, and Dr. Felton Clark was very instrumental in the person to get him here. But his impact it goes much further than Southern University and State of Louisiana. He won 12 SWAC titles, 10 of them at Southern and 2 at Texas College. And he won 5 or 6 national black championships. And also, he was very successful in the first interracial bowl game, the Fruit Bowl in San Francisco in 1948 when he played San Francisco State, and he won that game decisively. But his influence extended much further than the boundaries of Southern University. He was recognized nationally as a great coach. His winning record, he didn't coach over a period of 35 years, and a couple of those years they didn't have teams because of the war. But he won 246 games, second only to Eddie Robinson with his 402 game over 55 years, I should add. And so it always had loyal supporters, and they would follow the team everywhere they would go in large numbers. So Southern became the team that everyone loves to beat. Loves every Saturday. It's the toughest game we have every Saturday. So if they don't win another game, they figure if they win the Southern game, they had a good season. And because we carry a large crowd with us everywhere we go too, so a lot of people like that. And we like to brag about how good we are. And of course that helps out. But it is a vista to the university, using the football athletics period to use that way to introduce the university to people who may not have known the university. Went through a period of 20 years, 30 years, I believe it was, after Mom, till we got Coach Pete Richardson in 1982, 83, and then he returned us to the glory years. Rivalry with Grambling has always been there because it's an intrastate rivalry. And we played Grambling a few times before 1948, but after then, we didn't play them anymore until we became a member of SWAC in 1959. But FAMU filled that void with Jake Gaither and A.W. Mumford. Those were some of the greatest games that you ever would see, and they became our main rivalry after 1948. But the exposure that the biggest thing that we can say about the rivalry is that the Bayou Classic, coming to Bayou Classic in 1974, was the biggest thing for any of the HBCUs. First of all, we played in Tulane Stadium in 1974, the first game, because the Superdome was not complete, and we had over 76,000 fans and a national television audience. And we never looked back from that. So there's great exposure for the university, not just for football, but for the university period. On a big game day atmosphere here, we have over 100,000 people on the campus. And for homecoming, they're everywhere, all of them down to Scotlandville, railroad tracks, and we'll have over 100,000 fans here tailgating, just having a good time. And hopefully that we get most of them to come into the game. But we do have a pack.
All right, we're back. You're at the top of the hour. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody out there listening. Our Phillies, Alexandria down in New Orleans, right here in the Baton Rouge region, and everybody across the world watching us on our YouTube channel. Hope you're enjoying the content on there, as well as on our Facebook Live. Good morning to you on Facebook. Got to show love because that's where we get a lot of our viewership off our Facebook Live, as well as on our YouTube. Go hit the subscribe button, right? I'm not asking for much. That's all I do every time I come on here. I just ask for your support because it means a lot just for you to become a subscribed member to our YouTube channel. And we don't need anything from it but just your love and support. And as we continue to keep the show going today, it is a big day. Southern University women's basketball taking on Bethune-Cookman today. Florida A&M on Monday had a big game at home last week against Grambling. So why not talk to the head guy in charge? And that's my guy, Coach Carlos Funches, head women's basketball coach at Southern University. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Perry. Good to be with you again.
Good to have you on here, man. Big weekend for you guys. Bethune-Cookman at home today. Florida A&M on Monday. We'll get to those games. Let's recap last week, Coach. Big game against Grambling. You guys lost a heartbreaker down the stretch, 59-57. In that ball game, your team shoots 21 of 57 for 36%. Go 5 of 11 from the three-point line and 10 of 15 from the free throw line. You look at that ball game, you allow Grambling to shoot 21 of 45, shooting 46%. They were 3 of 8 from the three-point line and 14 of 24 from the free throw. It got away at the end, Coach. 2-point loss to our friends, our cousins up the road.
Yeah, that was a tough one. We had opportunity to close the game out, just couldn't quite come through. And, we went back, looked at the film, broke all of it down, looked at the mistakes that we made, and hopefully we can make the corrections and not have that happen again.
You look around at your team, tough loss. Grambling gets the sweep on you this year. What did you see from your team, your leaders, your seniors, and just all around after that loss when you went into that locker room?
Well, of course, we were hurt because we knew we had an opportunity to win this game. And it's a home game, number one. Then it's against your rival. We went up there and did not have a good showing. I thought we came back the second time around and was ready to go. They made some runs because they have a quality basketball team. And it was for second place. And, again, it was a home game. We just had some breakdowns at the end. I looked at some things that I could have done differently coming down the stretch and just go make those adjustments. We actually did some last-second work in practice this week. So just correcting your mistakes. We had Kayla Billow was out. Our backup point guard, she had a concussion. So I thought that really hurt us. Genovia had missed the previous 2 games. So, it was just a tough situation for everybody. But we still had opportunity to win the game. That's the good thing about it. With 1 or 2 adjustments, we most definitely could have won it.
You look at your team shooting 66% from the free throw line. You talk about Genovia Johnson. She's knocking down about 3 to 4 free throws average a game, shooting 71% from the charity line. And then you talk about Bethune-Cookman. They're coming into today's matchup averaging 67 points per game. The Wildcats are 11-4 in games where they put up more than 65 points. What are you looking for when you see that, if they have success from your team looking at playing tough defense against them?
Well, we're going to have to do a better job defensively. Last week we let Grambling get in the paint, especially in that second half and that fourth quarter, just driving, getting free throws and getting 2 feet in the paint. And they got a lot of easy looks. So that's one thing we went to work on this week, trying to keep teams from driving because Bethune going to put the ball on the floor, and they're going to try to get to that mid-range jump shot all the way to the basket. So we're going to have to do a better job of containing their perimeter players. They can shoot the 3-ball. Coming into the season, I thought that they were probably the sleeper team. No one wants to really play in the tournament. They had a lot of young players coming back. They got a lot of experience from last year, and they are extremely athletic. They have some bigs that can score the basketball and do a multitude of things. So it's going to be an extremely tough matchup. Now, the record really doesn't indicate how good they are. Their leading scorer, Wilson, was out for like 7 games, and she's one of the more dynamic players in this league. She's averaging 17 to 18 points a game. So they most definitely going to come in ready to go.
Yeah, they offensive rebounds, they're third in the conference. Let's look at Monday's matchup. I know you're taking one game at a time, but it's a preview because both are home games and for fans to show up to both games. Florida A&M on Monday, and the reason why I circle that game because when you guys went on the road to Tallahassee, they got one over on you. They got a victory 59-53. You look at Florida A&M, who's going to be your opponent on Monday. Kind of give us a backstory of what happened on the road in Tallahassee that first time, Coach.
Well, we got out to an extremely slow start. We struggled. I thought we started pressing some and didn't really run our offense like we should have. And they did a good job playing a matchup zone. And, it's my job to make sure that we were ready for it, and I did do a good job that game. So we went back to the drawing board, put in a few extra things, and hopefully we'll be ready for it. But like you said, we take it one game at a time. So, all my focus right now has been on Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, I ain't going to take you too fast, Coach. I ain't going to take you too fast. I'm going to slow you down. You look at today's big matchup, Bethune-Cookman. The game will be broadcast on HBCU Go TV. Coach, stick with me. I'm going to start doing the SWAC conference standing. I'm going to work my way up, and then when we get to those top teams up there, I'll have an opportunity to talk to you about those teams because you have played against them. Starting at the bottom of the list on the SWAC women's side, we look at Alabama State and Mississippi Valley State. Both teams at the bottom. They're 11.5 games out of first place at 3-12. Right above them, Texas Southern at 4-11. Alcorn State women's basketball team at 5-9. Bethune-Cookman today's team, and that we're matching up with Bethune-Cookman 6-9 in the conference on the women's side. Prairie View along with FAMU Monday's matchup 7-8 in conference play. Now we start to talk about the teams above 500. Alabama A&M at 9-6. Southern University right there in that fourth spot on the women's side at 9-5, 5 games out of first place. Pine Bluff, UAPB coach Don Thornton, they're 4.5 games out of first place at 10-5. You look at Grambling State, last week's opponent, they're at 11-3 in conference play, 3 games out. And then, of course, I've been saying it is Jackson State and everybody else. They're 14-0, holding that number one spot, currently riding a 14-game win streak, undefeated. Coach, you're in the fourth spot, but let's look at UAPB, Grambling, Jackson State. When you stack those teams up and you look at them, conference tournament is going to start in about about 2 weeks. You start to look at how things are going to shape out. What do you see about those teams that are right there above you?
Well, this league is extremely balanced. There's a lot of parity. To be honest with you, I think anybody out of those top 8 teams is going to go to the tournament. Anybody can beat anybody any given night. So, that's including Jackson, including ourselves, Grambling. Anybody can beat you. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to go in prepared and ready to go. You can't go in sleepwalking against anybody. You look at Jackson has had some really tough games this year. Of course, Grambling has had some tough games. Anybody can beat you any given night. So that's true. That's true this year for sure, no doubt about it. So everybody's going to have to go in and be ready to go because there's going to be some upsets in that tournament without question.
Yeah, it is. You guys were a part of the upset last year. Jackson State came in as the number 1 seed. You met them in the semifinal and got the victory and moved on past them and went to the championship. And you guys were the SWAC tournament champions last year, going on to the NCAA tournament. Comparing last year's team, Coach, to this year's team, would you say, and everybody has their errors. Everybody say this team was better than that team. But when you look and compare the two teams and where you guys are at now compared to last year, what do you see in the difference in both teams?
Well, we lost 2 experienced players. Money McWayne, who was our, second leading scorer last year. She was a 5th-year senior. She had a lot of experience. And, she was always ready for the moment. She was conference tournament MVP. And then Tanisha Metcalf, she was an experienced point guard. She was another 5th-year senior. So they brought a lot of experience and poise, in crunch time situations. This year, I think we're still growing at those positions. I think we have some younger players who have stepped up and doing better, but every day they're getting more and more experience. So, we just want to get hot going down the stretch, and I think we had a potential. Well, I know we had a potential to do it, and just play some good basketball going into the tournament.
That's it. You start to want to play your best basketball this time of the year. Get on that run. You got the Florida schools this week. the Alabama schools next week. Then you look at the tournament is going to roll. Let's look at some other games around the conference today. Not only is it Southern and Bethune-Cookman, tip-off for that game on the women's side, 12 o'clock in the Mini-Dome, F.G. Clark Activity Center, right there on the campus of Southern University. Alabama State versus Alabama A&M today, Florida A&M and Grambling, Mississippi Valley, UAPB, Alcorn State, and Prairie View. And then we round it out today at 3 o'clock tip-off, Jackson State taking on Texas Southern. Then on Monday, you're going to have Jackson State on the road at Prairie View, Florida A&M here in Baton Rouge against Southern, tip-off at 5:30 for the women. Alcorn State versus Texas Southern, and Bethune-Cookman versus Grambling. That's your games for this weekend. Starting to get crucial. Things are heating up. Coach, do you tell your team anything specifically when you get to this time of the year and it's starting to get as crucial as possible?
Well, you want to go out and do all the little things right. So, I don't really worry about the end result. I always look at the process.
Uh-huh.
If you're doing the little things correctly, I think everything else will take care of itself. You have to box out every time. You have to get back on defense. You have to move the basketball and take good shots. Just the little things. All those little things add up to a victory. So it's all about the process, not just the end result.
Well, Coach, I thank you for coming on this morning, man. Hey, look, I always appreciate it. Look, Coach cooler than the other side of the pillow, as they say, man. It's one of my favorite people right there on campus, and anytime he see me, he stops to say, "What's up, Perry?" And I do the same thing, man. So, Coach, as always, man, love you and appreciate you for coming on this morning.
Same here, Perry. I appreciate it. I'll see you out here this afternoon.
All right, that's the voice of Coach Carlos Funches, Southern University women's head basketball coach. All right, let's get ready to take a break. Come back. I'm trying to wake up Coach Kevin Johnson. I know he's up. It's game day. We're going to talk some Southern University men's basketball and look around the conference. All right, so you guys stay tuned. We'll be back more to Jaguar Journal.
Darius Skelton has really had this wave of momentum for Southern.
Yeah, first-year player in this program. I love his decision-making. He makes quick decisions, particularly when running the run-pass option game. That's his specialty. He's been an impact for this offense since he took over as starting quarterback.
Well, Darius Skelton is a dual-threat quarterback. He can throw the football. He's very good at throwing the ball down the field. We're going to work on this spring those intermediate passes, but down the field, he's one of the better down the field passes that I've seen.
Play action, Skelton going for it all, has a man, and hauling it in is Hunter Register.
And then when you talk about running ability, he has running back capabilities. He can go the distance. He has the speed to go the distance. He has the power, and he has the vision. And I think when you put that with a dual threat quarterback, I think he's the reason why we're so happy about this coming season.
Skelton feeling the pressure. Skelton eludes a couple of tacklers. He's still on his feet. Oh my! Little shake and bake juke move, baby.
Being a quarterback, man, it's not easy at all. It was hard being here and having the expectations to be the starter and not being the starter. It was overwhelming. Like, I was ready to play, and not playing when I was ready to play just made me kind of look at life differently and really think, should I be here or should I not? And I talked to God, and he just settled me down, and he told me to be patient. That's what I did.
Skelton, who started the last 6 games of 2018 for the Jaguars. They went 5-1. Their only loss to Alcorn State in the SWAC title game. Taking the jet sweep, and Skelton awfully good with his leg. Blitz. Register, the receiver at the bottom of your screen. Nice grab. All who have had an impact here in the year lowing. Southern still off. Skelton comes up for the 3rd time. Taking the jet sweep, he'll keep it. A good lead block as he cuts it to the outside. The fake to Ben. Skelton will run. And dragging with them for a few yards. Darius. The time, stepping up into the end zone, has registered. Flag down, catch made, touchdown, and it's actually first quarter yards. Southern 121, McNeese 40. Fresh set of downs as we begin the second quarter, and looking deep, Skelton for Register.
What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody out there. I am Perry White. Good to have you guys tuned in with us, and let's continue to keep the conversation going. It is a big basketball weekend here on the campus of Southern University right here in Baton Rouge, and why not talk men's basketball with the guy who runs the entire ship, and he's the head coach, my guy, Coach Kevin Johnson. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Perry.
How you doing?
I'm doing great this morning. It's game day.
I know. I said, I might have to call him, wake him up. I said, you know what? He's up. It's a game today. Ain't no way he's sleeping in today.
Yeah, I don't ever sleep in, Perry, but the game days, I got to be honest, that's a little bit more excitement. So I get up even a little bit earlier.
Talking to Coach Carlos Funches about the game last week against Grambling. Let's look at the game this week against Bethune-Cookman and as well as Florida A&M. But we'll take a step back and highlight that game. Southern loses that game to Grambling 63-57. Southern University men's basketball shoots 21 of 51 for 41% in that ball game. 8 of 21 from the three-point line for 38%, and 7 of 14 from the free throw line, shooting 50%. On the other side for Grambling, 22 of 45 for 48%, 7 of 12 shooting 58%, and 12 of 19 shooting 63%. Coach, you guys going to halftime with a lead, but then get outscored in the second half, 40-20. For everybody that's listening, for you in coaching, what happened, Coach?
Well, I can tell you, we didn't have the right defensive energy to start the second half, and the second half for me really is about a bunch of missed opportunities. We missed 13 layups in that ball game, 7 in the second half, and a lot of those uncontested. And and our goal is to shoot 75% from the free throw line, and we didn't meet that mark by shooting 50%. So with 2 minutes to go, that was a one-possession game, in spite of all the layups missed and the poor free throw shooting. So we know that we missed an opportunity in that game.
Yeah, it was a tough loss, man. And in packed house, first of all, you got to give a shout-out, Coach, to the fans that showed up for that one, man. It's been a while since I saw the mini dome packed to the rafters like that one.
You know what? It was an unbelievable crowd. Boy, I really appreciate everybody showing up. And when you walked out into that arena, Perry, it looked like a ACC game or a Big 12 game. And, boy, that really made me feel good. So it just proves that this is a great place, and we have a great opportunity to build a champion here.
Today's opponent, Bethune-Cookman, you guys go on the road the last time and lose in overtime 83-81. And what I've noticed in those losses in conference play, Coach, it's kind of been the same thing that you saw it the first time against Grambling and the second time, and you saw it against Bethune-Cookman. Having that lead and then just seem to just run out of steam late into that game, and then other teams taking advantage of that. How do you stop that when you look at today's opponent who already got a victory over you and found a way to battle back in the game the last time you went over to Daytona to play Bethune?
Well, Bethune is a team that's very talented offensively. They want to play at a very fast pace, and they want to score a lot of points. That ball game against them last time got up into the 80s. That's way too high. We need this game today to be in the 70s, and I would even prefer it be in the 60s because they can score the ball at all 5 positions. So that ball game kind of got going at their pace, and they were able to make some shots and kind of outlast us because, and even in that game, Perry, we had some opportunities in regulation to steal that game and missed some good opportunities. So sometimes that's the way the ball bounces.
Yeah, free throws were big in that loss the first time against Bethune-Cookman down the stretch. Clutch free throws needed to be knocked down. Didn't quite get them. Southern University in their last 10 games on the men's side, your record is 7-3, averaging 69 points a game, 28 rebounds, 13 assists, 8 steals, and about close to 4 blocks a game while averaging 45.7% shooting around the field. On the other side for Bethune-Cookman, today's opponent, they're 6-4 in their last 10 games, averaging 73 points a game, 31 rebounds, 13 assists, 9 steals, as well as 4 blocks, and they're shooting 44% around the field. You look at Coach Reggie Theus, right, for Bethune-Cookman, a guy who has a track record of knowing basketball. You look at yourself, a track record of knowing basketball. 2 basketball minds going at it, and I've continued to tell people about this. Bethune-Cookman is an athletic team, and for me, I think they're the sleeper. If you had to look around the conference and look for a sleeper, because they are talented enough, Coach, to beat anybody at any given time around this league.
Well, you're right about that, Perry, but not just Bethune. I mean, if you look at our conference standings, I think it proves that there's one of 9 teams that could beat anybody from top to bottom. And, that makes for a great conference run. I think it says a lot about the quality of this league, the quality of the players, and also the quality of the coaches.
You guys are 10-1 at home, losing your first home game on the season last week against Grambling. But you got some playmakers that's stepping up. I had an opportunity to talk to Derek Tisano this week. I told him, man, it seems like your game is steady elevating. He's starting to become a more physical presence out there. But at the same time, you got to look at also HBCU All-Star watch list. He's one of the top players on the team. Brandon Davis, man, he's averaging 12 points for you guys. What do you like when you look at Brandon Davis and his consistency, and you looking at Derek Tisano with his game continuously seeming to evolve?
Well, for us to be successful, we really need 3 guys to play well. We need Derek to score and rebound the ball, and he's probably our best all-around defender. And, Brandon Davis leading us in scoring, and when he's shooting the ball and getting those baskets, boy, it really helps our team. He did not make a shot in the second half against Grambling after going 4 for 5 from 3 in the first half. So, we need him to score the ball. And then the third guy I would have to say is Tejan Damasi. I mean, when those 3 guys are playing well and executing, then, we're awfully hard to stop.
Coach, I'm going to go through the SWAC standings, and you just roll through it with me. And when I get to the top, I'll ask you about some of those teams because you've pretty much seen everybody in the conference. Let's start at the bottom. How about Coach George Ivory over at Mississippi Valley State getting their first victory on the season, beating Prairie View? They snapped a 20-plus game losing streak that dated all the way back to last year. So they're now 1-14. Now, I don't know whether to say glorified or what, but it's just good, Coach. Let's start there for any team to get a victory if you've been on a long drought of losing.
Well, George Ivory's a veteran. He's been in this league a long time, from the days when he was an assistant at Mississippi Valley, and he even was a head coach at Pine Bluff, I think, 9-10 years. But he's a veteran, and he's kind of rebuilding the program at Valley. And I tell you what, that is a tough place to play, and his team plays with a lot of discipline. And, we were able to separate from them in the second half, but I'm not surprised that they were able to get a victory. And I don't think they're done. They're going to get somebody else before the season's over.
Yeah, Coach Ivory, I remember him doing this time at UAPB. They won the 2010 SWAC tournament. They went on to take on Winthrop in that first 4-game in, got their first victory ever during the NCAA tournament. But unfortunately, they had to go to Jacksonville, Florida to take on the number 1 seed team at that time, Duke. Duke ultimately won the national title that year. I went and traveled with them. I think the tournament was in Shreveport. The first round ultimately was in Jacksonville, so it was tough for Coach Ivory that year, but had some success. We move on. Florida A&M, who's going to be Monday's opponent, 4-11 in conference play. Prairie View at 5-10. UAPB, Alabama A&M, and Alabama State all lined up at 7-8 in conference play on the men's side. Jackson State right there at 8-6. You look at Bethune-Cookman, today's opponent. They're 2.5 games out of first place at 9-6. Alcorn State 9-5, 2 games out. Now we're starting to talk about the best of the rest. Texas Southern at 10-5. They're a game and a half out. Southern University 10-4, 1 game out, and then Grambling State right there at the top at 11-3. Texas Southern coaches really battled themselves back into the conversation of one of the best teams in the conference.
Well, you knew that coming in. How many times, Barry, have we talked about them being the defending 3-time SWAC tournament champions? Mm-hmm. And, Coach Jones is an experienced guy, and he's got an experienced team, and he has the biggest team in the league. So they present a lot of problems.
Alcorn, what is it that the Braves are doing well? They're currently riding a 5-game win streak. You guys went up there, and Coach snuck out one on them, okay? Got out of there with one on the reservation. But when you look at that Alcorn basketball team, they are scrappy.
You know what? They play with the personality of their coach. They're very physical. They're very intense. And, they really guard you on the defensive end. And, to have a streak of five wins, boy, that's tough to do, especially in this league. I know we had our own streak and hope to get our own going again.
Let's look at games played around the conference today. Alcorn State to take on Prairie View. Bethune-Cookman and Southern tip-off 3 o'clock today, HBCU Go TV. That'll be a nationally televised game. Check your local listings. If you're out there listening, you want to tune in, you can watch Southern and Bethune-Cookman today, HBCU Go TV. I recommend you go to the website and be able to check your local listings of where you can watch it. Alabama State versus Alabama A&M. Florida A&M versus Grambling, Jackson State versus Texas Southern, and Valley looking for that second win. And, Coach, they're taking on Pine Bluff, so Coach Ivory is going back to Pine Bluff. I'm sure he's going to make things interesting trying to get that second win of where he came from, right?
You kidding me? You know he wants that game today.
Then Monday, you have Jackson State versus Prairie View, Alcorn State versus Texas Southern. That is a game to circle and look for on Monday, aside from the Florida A&M and Southern game, which will be at home right here in Baton Rouge at 7:30 p.m. And then Bethune-Cookman and Grambling, another great matchup. Monday are some great matchups. I like that Bethune-Cookman, Grambling. I like Alcorn State and Texas Southern, Coach, when you look at those matchups.
You know, Perry, I agree with you there, but, you know, in addition to that, I think anytime you have so many teams so close in this race, I think it makes for every night we have SWAC games. It's gonna be a good night.
That's it, and we're coming down to it. The last 2 games of the season after this weekend is over with. You're gonna have the Alabama schools, and before you know it, Coach, we're gonna be talking SWAC tournament.
You know, it's hard for me to think about it. I know it's just right around the corner, but Perry, you've been around me long enough to know my mind is on one game.
That's it, Coach, and I appreciate you for coming on to talk about that one game today against Bethune-Cookman. Everybody out there, we had that great crowd last week. Let's get it again today. We're going to need a Bethune-Cookman, Reggie Theers. They're a really good ball club. They got past Southern the first time in overtime. Let's see if we can repay the favor to them and send them back home with a loss. Coach, thank you for joining us this morning.
You know what? It's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
All right, same. Go Jags. That's the voice of Coach Kevin Johnson, Southern University head men's basketball coach. All right, let's take a break. Try to wake up my guy, Charlie Neal. He is live here in Baton Rouge because guess what? HBCU Go will be broadcasting the game today, HBCU Go TV, and Charlie Neal will be on the call. So we're going to talk to him about the game itself and about those matchups. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be back more to Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
For the first time in the 79-year history of the Southwestern Athletic Conference Elite Championship game determines the overall champion today. Live from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, it's the champions of the East, Jackson State, taking on Southern, the champs from the West. Hello, everybody. George Johnson along with Charles Mann. And I got to tell you, a great poet once said this is the way it's supposed to be. And it is. Number 11 Southern taking on number 15 Jackson State. Both programs have won 3 SWAC titles over the decade. So it's only fitting in the first SWAC championship game we determine the program of the decade. We've got a lot of offense out on the field. And yet this guy right here, he's going to tell you this game's all about D.
It's always all about D, George. You know that. It's always all about D.
An all-pro defensive end is going to tell you that. When you think about Jackson State, this is a team that is very potent offensively, but defensively they've led the SWAC throughout most of the year, and they've got the best player in defense in the SWAC, and that's Tommy Head.
Tommy Head. Get used to saying that name. You'll say it all day. He'll be all over the field. He's always around the football. He's the leading tackler on this team. He also has 5.5 sacks.
At one point this year, Southern led the nation in scoring defense. Then they ran into Florida A&M. They got a lot of guys out there that can get it done, but at the top of the list is DeMarcus Miller.
DeMarcus Miller, the linebacker coach, Terrence Graves, told me there's one word to describe this kid, and that is relentless. He's only 5'10", 285 pounds. He makes a lot of plays, though.
Relentless, appropriate word for our third member of the broadcast team, and that's Joe Clare, who's standing by down on the sideline. Joe?
Yes, indeed. I'm down here on the field capturing all the pageantry and revelry that is black college football. Birmingham, Alabama is a lovely city. This is the inaugural SWAC championship in their city, so they came out to have a good time. I will be covering the bands, the cheerleaders, shout-outs, all of that kind of stuff. Back to you guys up top.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. You know, earlier this year, Southern beat Jackson State, the 4th straight win over the Tigers. But what's most impressive about Southern, they haven't lost a conference game in 25 outings. They put it on the line against Jackson State.
We look at the starting lineups brought to you by Western Union Money Transfer, the fastest way to send money worldwide. You saw the backs. Here's your offensive line, Damon Nivens. is a first-team All-SWAC member. Defensively, there's your starting lineups for Jackson State's defense. Chandler, Tommy Head, Edward Reese, pretty good middle linebacker. Rashard Anderson is a professional prospect, and they say he will be in the NFL next year. It is your starting lineup, brought to you by Western Union. Mark Washington is your quarterback. Destry Wright, the all-time leading rusher in school history, is the tailback. Jeremiah Todd is...
All right, we are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody that's out there. I'm glad to have you tuned in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. And good morning to our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, down in New Orleans, and right here in the capital city area of Baton Rouge on Talk 107.3. Good to have you. And as we're going to continue to move on with the show, it is good to have this next guest because at this point, he's kind of not even like a guest. He can just come in at any point that he wants. And I love to have his conversation with him because when you hear his voice, you know exactly who he is. He is the legend. He is my guy. He is somebody I looked up to for a long time. Let's welcome to the show, Charlie Neal. Good morning.
Good morning, Terry. How are you?
Doing good, man. Good to have you in the capital city this weekend.
Yes, indeed. I'm right here in Baton Rouge.
Do you know what that means? Do you know what Baton Rouge actually means?
I actually do not.
It stands for Red Stick.
It stands for what?
Red Stick. R-E-D,
well,
red stick. A red stick in the ground. That's what it stands for.
I'll deal with it.
That could be something for the broadcast today. You say down in Red Stick, Baton Rouge. That's what it stands for, Red Stick. So throw that out there for the people out there.
I will.
Good to have you on, man. As always, you in town to broadcast today's big game, Bethune-Cookman versus Jackson State, both women and men game for you. What has your travels been like so far in the journey as you've gone around and broadcast these mini games around the conference and been able to watch these teams up close and personal?
Well, on the women's side, you talk about, of course, we're coming down to the final week of the regular season. So everybody is in that vying mode for positioning and seedings for the tournament coming up in Birmingham, Alabama. And right now, Southern University is sitting in a pretty good spot on the ladies' side in the number 4 spot. Jackson State on top. They're unbeaten in conference play at 14-0. Grambling is right behind them. They've only lost 3 conference games. And then it's Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Southern. And, of course, we remember last year Southern upset Jackson State in the tournament and went on to win the whole thing on the women's side. You look over on the men's side for the SWAC, Grambling and Southern, they've been battling the last couple of weeks. Southern's on a 2-game losing streak, but at home today, this is a place they do a very good job of protecting the home court advantage at F.G. Clark Activity Center. They've only lost 1 home game all season long, and only 3 dating back to last season. So they're in second place right behind Grambling, and, a big win for them today. They played Bethune today. Then they close out the season against Florida A&M. That's on Monday. And then they close out the season on the road against the 2 Alabama schools, Alabama State and Alabama A&M. So it's going to be very interesting down the stretch just to see where these teams are seated in the conference. The hottest team in the men's side right now in the SWAC is Alcorn. They're on a 5-game winning streak, and they're right now sitting in the number 4 spot.
I got to ask you about Coach George Ivory. You remember that last time we talked, you were up in Huntsville, Alabama. Alabama A&M was taking on Valley, and I was talking to you. How do you keep a broadcast really entertaining and exciting when you have a team who is winless, have a losing streak dating back to last year? But guess what? They got a victory this past week against Prairie View, and they snapped that losing streak, and Coach Ivory then takes his team back to his old stomping grounds, the Pine Bluff, today to take on the Golden Lions. You have to think he's looking for that second game in a row.
Yeah, he certainly is. And, you say it's hard because the team is 1-0 at the time we saw them. I think they were 0-24 or something like that. But that, they don't play like an 0-24 team. So that's what keeps the broadcast interesting. It wasn't like they got blown out 100-0.
Mm-hmm.
They played very well, and they had an opportunity in that game. And you could see the intensity, the competitiveness, the anxiety, and all of the things that a team needs to get over the hump. And, of course, if you're on the other side, you don't want to be the first team that loses to them. So, again, the other teams come with some aggression, too. to avoid being that team that says, like Prairie View last week, oh, we're the only team that they beat this year, you know. So they're a very competitive team, and George Ivory does a very good job with that squad. And you don't see, like I was able to attend practice and get a chance to see them. I'll see them again next week when they play Jackson State down in Jackson, Mississippi to close out the season. And you watch them at practice, and you watch the camaraderie among the players and how the coach interacts with those young men. You would never know if you walked in and nobody told you that they were 0 and whatever, that their record was as poor as it is.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. You look at today's matchup, Reggie Theus versus Kevin Johnson, two great basketball minds. Just from the coach's perspective for you, what do you see when these two guys come together with their ball clubs?
Well, Reggie is very intense, and we talk a lot to him. In fact, got a chance to go and hang out with them last night a little bit when they came in to do their little practice over at Southern at the F.G. Clark Activity Center. And, one of the things that we talk about with him is their ability to have people to share the ball and move the ball around. And the way he coaches, it's very interesting because some of the things that he believes in, he's not able to do. He's got to try to get them to do what he likes. He talks about the fact that he has 5 guys that could get their own shots, but he would rather also have them do more of assisting. They like catch and shoot rather than moving the ball around. So these are the things that coaches like himself and Coach Johnson at Southern University, they're the old school type, and they believe in doing things in certain manners. But then, of course, you have the younger generation. They watch a lot of TV. They watch the Steph Currys of the world, and they feel like, if the ball touches their head, they need to put the ball up. So that's the thing. And the biggest thing for coaches in today's world is getting the young people to buy into what they're trying to teach. And I think both of those coaches do a great job of that.
Yes, Southern University shooting 45% from around the field so far coming into this game in their last 10 games. And you look at Bethune-Cookman shooting 44% around the field in their last 10 games. They're 6-4 in their last. Southern 7-3 in their last. And what I like about Bethune-Cookman, I said this early on, when I saw them play, they are very athletic, and they are a team where if I was to label a sleeper, they are a sleeper because, to me, I think they are athletic enough and good enough to beat any team in this league at any given time, Charlie.
Well, yeah, they are a very good team, They're an excellent team. I mean, you got a kid named Jacoby Hetty, who's 7th in scoring and 3rd in field goal percentage in the conference. Zion Harmey, he was a freshman, SWAC Freshman of the Year, transferred from Western Kentucky, started 21 games last season for them. It was preseason, first team all conference. You got Deshaun Dyson, he hit that fadeaway to force overtime in the first meeting between Bethune and Southern University. You got a kid named Reggie Ward on that squad, banged up the last few games, but it should be okay today. And the big thing for Bethune-Cookman is rebounding. That's the biggest challenge for them. If they do a good job of rebounding the ball, they'll be all right. They'll be in the ball game. But again, you've got those teams, when you look at the standings again in the SWAC with that 1 week left, Grambling on top, Southern, Texas Southern, Alcorn, and then Bethune. Those are the top 5 teams. Jackson State, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Alabama State, and Alabama A&M. There are 4 teams vying for those last 3 spots right now. Prairie View probably will not make it in the tournament. I'm almost sure of that. They're 5-10 coming in today's action. Florida A&M is 4-11, and then Mississippi Valley, of course, 1-14. But again, when it's all about positioning yourself for the proper seeding. Because when you go into the tournament, if you're a number 8 seed, you're going to play the number 1 team. If you're number 6 or 7 seed, you're going to play the number 2 seed. So seeding is very, very important for these teams coming into the tournament. So it's going to be very interesting to watch and see how it plays out. But then, of course, you talked about all those people over I was talking about players over on the Southern side. Of course, we know Southern lost a couple of his players. Terrion Joseph is gone. on the team. He's no longer on the team, and Jordan Mitchell is no longer on the team. But they're still getting it done.
Yeah, you look at a guy, Brandon Mitchell, Derek Tisano. Those guys have been big. Tejan Damasi has been big for them. So you're starting to see. I just think Southern has to get a little bit better down in the post play. When you look at Mon, you look at Reynolds. Those guys, I think, have to be able to play bigger in those roles for Southern, because what Southern's going to do, they're going to jack up a lot of shots. They have to come down with those rebounds to get those second chance opportunities at the basket.
Yeah, both teams will have to do a good job on the boards, and that's very, very important when you go in and you look at the rebounding average, like coming into the game. And we're not just against SWAC opponents alone. Southern University is averaging something like 29, just under 30 rebounds a game, while Bethune-Cookman is averaging about 32. So they have about a 3-rebound edge against SWAC opponents. That is Bethune-Cookman. So that can make a difference.
Yeah, you talk about Jacoby Head. He scored 24 points for Bethune-Cookman in a 90-84 overtime victory over Alabama State. He's a guy that I would definitely circle and be on the lookout for today against Bethune-Cookman. Charlie, before I get ready to let you go, you've been to many different arenas across this landscape, this conference landscape so far. I got to ask you, which one, when I say hostile, I mean it was a tough day from the fans and everybody else that they gave the visiting team. So far, what arena would you say has been the most hostile for you when you look at just the overall atmosphere?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
You had to turn around. You on the broadcast. You like, it's tough up in here right now.
Now, I understand last week I wasn't here, but when Grambling came in here, it was a pretty raucous crowd last Saturday. Was it Saturday they played here?
Yes, sir. It packed to the Raptors.
I heard it was packed to the Raptors last week. So, Southern does a very good. Southern has always had great crowds, whether it be for basketball or whether it be for football. I've always been impressed with Southern University. And some places are worse than others. Just off the top, that's a great question. I'm going to have to do some research and go back and really put my thinking cap on. But I do know that Southern, just off the top of my head, they have some great crowds. There's some other conferences, schools in other conferences that do a good job. Norfolk State has good crowds down there when they play. Hampton University, Howard University, they can get after you too. Just to name a few. North Carolina A&T. I'm just going to have to go back and think, because there's so many schools. All of them have their own unique way of intimidating the opponents. But again, I'm expecting a good raucous crowd today, because this is an important game. This is an important game for your Southern University Jaguars. And like I said, they after today they only have one more game at home, and that is against FAMU on Monday. And then they close out the season on the road. Mm-hmm. So, it's important. It's important that the fans come out and support the team.
The voice of Charlie Neal, and if you hear him now, you're going to hear him doing the broadcasts. They're going to broadcast on HBCU Go TV today's women and men basketball game, Southern University versus Bethune-Cookman. Check your local listings in terms of how can you watch it, where can you watch it. But the first tip-off is going to be 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, Southern versus Bethune-Cookman on the women's side. I know you can also go on HBCU Go TV's website, and there you can watch the game from there, but it'll also be aired all across the country, and you'll be able to see and hear this wonderful voice of my guy, Charlie Neal, the legend in the broadcast game. And so, Charlie, today when I see you, man, I'm going to have to shake your hand, and if you got time, I'm going to have to buy you something to eat or something. I don't know. We're going to have to figure it out. It ain't often I can get you down in the bayou.
All right, Barry, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, good to have you on. All right, that's the voice of Charlie Neal, HBCU Go TV. Let's get ready to close this thing out. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, close it out. Stay tuned, more to Jaguar Journal.
watching the Southern University Human Jukebox. Click here to watch more videos. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal. All right, we are back. Good morning to everybody. It's the Jaguar Journal. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's show. We have been rocking and rolling. Mike said it felt like we've been in here for 10 minutes. That's when you know you're doing it. It ain't dragging. It don't feel like, we've had a full show today. Let's first start by thanking Southern University head softball coach, Coach Brittany Williams, coming on. Then track and field, Coach White, my cousin from on the other side, coming on talking to us about the track and field program, as well as the Pelican Relays. Want to thank Coach Carlos Funches, the head women's basketball coach at Southern University, as well as Coach Kevin Johnson, my guy, Southern University head men's basketball coach. And then Charlie Neal, whose voice you're going to hear today on the broadcast for HBCU Go TV. So no matter where you at in the world, you can watch it, whether you go to the HBCU Go TV website or if you check your local listings, it will be on a local station in a city near and around you. So you'll be able to check and watch that out. Charlie Neal, you will hear him on both the women's game at tip-off at 12 and the men game, who's tip-off at 3 o'clock. Opportunity to watch Southern University and Bethune-Cookman, two brands coming together today. Once again, like I said at the beginning of the show, if you did not hear, it is a new day here at the Jaguar Journal. I want to thank my man Reggie Flood. 11 and a half years of holding down the Jaguar Journal. He's now moved on. Reggie has now jumped off his own show, the Big Time Sports Show. If you want to follow that, is over on HBCU Sports. The Jaguar Journal, I now have the keys to the house. It is now Perry White. You know, for years you heard, here's your host, Reggie Flood. Now here's your host, Perry White. I've officially got the keys to the house, and I have to thank and always show love to Reggie. Reggie, the one gave me the opportunity coming on when he first saw me and we first had conversations. I came on here about 5.5 years ago just as a guest. He invited me on again as a guest, and then as a guest, and ultimately I became his co-host. So for the past 5.5 years, I've been blessed to be able to co-host the show right here with Reggie Flood, and now he's lunching and doing some other things, and so I'm here with the Jaguar Journal. So you guys got me. So now what we're going to do with the show, we're going to be a lot more, try to do some more innovative things, be a little bit more different and creative in how we're going about doing things. And one of those right now are the YouTube channel. We're on the road to 1,000. We're just right now organically just growing it. But if you're listening, once again, I understand if you're listening to it on the radio or whatever, but just still go to on your YouTube. It's out. It don't matter how you do it. And just go hit the subscribe button. I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking for your support, because guess what? That's the only way we can continue to grow this thing and put us out there. If you know anybody who loves Southern University, if you know anybody who loves SWAC, HBCUs, don't matter, MEAC, whatever, and they just like to listen to this content, because trust me, it's not a lot of places out there outside of the internet where you can get this content consistently on major airwaves. Send them the link so then they can follow. Just share one. Share the link. That's what this is all about. The only way we can grow is we support each other, right? And we have to be able to grow by doing that. So you guys support us. We're going to continue to grow with this thing. We're going to continue to try new things and just take us into the age of digital media while at the same time incorporating old school radio. Thank you to our affiliates over in Alexandria, down in New Orleans, right here in the Baton Rouge area, live on Talk 107.3. Everybody watching on our Facebook Live, hey, share it on Facebook. That is the easiest way to get it around. Just hit that share button. Then it ultimately opens us up to your audience, your friends list, and everybody else that is watching on your side, and do the same thing with our YouTube channel. Share that so people can learn more about the Jaguar Journal. Mike and I have been doing some things behind the scene to really grow it. And if you know of a business or you have a business and you want to market and advertise with us, we have plenty of spaces for you to do that as well. You can market and advertise with us just running your commercial on our radio show, as well as commercial spots for our YouTube Live and our Facebook Live. So as we move forward, the opportunities are there. Would you come join us? And we would love to have you join us as we continue this mission of the longest running talk show in Louisiana right now. It's the Jaguar Journal, 20 plus years. Thank you to everybody who has come before me, because there have been many people, and there's a lot of people who've been listening to this show for the 20 plus years. It has aired on the multiple radio shows and whatever else, and there have been plenty of people that come through. I'm the next generation to be able to handle it and get the keys, and I'm going to try to take it far and beyond than it has ever been in the 20 years and try to grow the value and continue to push the brand of what it is that we call the Jaguar Journal, what it is that you guys have grew to love. A lot of people have grown up over the past 20 years, and so you have listened to this show a long time, and we appreciate you. I'm not trying to run anybody off. What I'm trying to do is bring more people in, and I'll continue to try to do it in different and innovative ways. But Reggie Flood, no longer on the show. He's moved on to his big-time sports show over on HBCU Sports. I now have the keys. The Jaguar Journal is now with me, and we're going to try to do some things to continue to push this thing. So once again, let's just start by you going to our YouTube channel and subscribing. Let's start by you going to our Facebook page and hitting follow and like. And we're going to grow on other social media spaces as well. I know everybody. I talked to Mike. Mike said, I don't even know how to work Facebook. So that right there was an indication, said, all right, it's time to take this thing to a new platform. So don't be surprised when I start telling you to go follow us on Instagram and TikTok and all of those other things, because that's where we're going with this. As you see, the next generation has to bring you up to date to what the new generation like. I like Facebook, right? I come from a time of that, but when Mike say he don't know how to work Facebook, that means that's a whole generation of his friends and young people that we can bring in that don't know how to work it either. So we got to dive into their world and figure out what ways can we then get them in tune to what we have going on here at the Jaguar Journal. And trust me, we're going to do it slowly but surely. And as always, I thank you guys for your support. Reggie Flood, if you want to follow him, he's now the big-time sports show on HBCU Sports. No longer here with me on the Jaguar Journal. So it is Perry White for now. We're working on some things. We'll see where things go in the future. But right now, it's Mike and I holding it down. It's the Jaguar Journal, and I appreciate you guys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. And as always, I'll see you guys at the same time at the same place next week, because it is the Jaguar Journal. Y'all have a good weekend. Go check out some of the games. What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.